All right. So I'm going to tell you a story this time. It's welcome weekend. New students are arriving to campus, and they are ready to start their lives as lions. Jasmine's new, and she's excited to finally be living away from home for the first time. She and the new friends she made in her residence hall have been going party to party, taking shots, and flirting with cute guys, everyone they see. But then she sees Jason. Jason's that cute guy that lives the floor below her in her residence hall. Jasmine and Jason start talking and dancing. Good hair. Start talking and dancing. And one thing leads to another, and they end up going back to his room. They start making out, and Jasmine says to Jason, "Hey, listen, I don't want to have sex." Jason says, "Don't worry about it." But slowly he pressures her. Eventually, they end up doing it. Jasmine wakes up feeling disoriented, confused, and used. Does this sound far-fetched? It shouldn't, because I've spoken to a lot of you here at LMU, and you have told me over and over again that this scenario happens frequently. So what was missing from our story? What did Jason forget? Jason forgot consent. Consent is a crucial factor in preventing sexual assault. It was missing, and it's missing all too often. Some folks will tell you that they don't know what consent is. Even more will tell you they don't know what consent's not. It is a crucial step to live the Lions Code. It's a crucial step in preventing sexual assault. It is the only way that everyone in a sexual situation knows that they are an unambiguous and willing participant. And today you will leave here knowing the 4 pillars of consent. Consent is clear. It requires that both participants clearly communicate their willingness, their cooperation, and their permission to specific sexual activities. Refusal to consent does not have to be spoken. It can be expressed with clear gestures, body language, or attitude. I'm not sure, I don't know, maybe, do not equal consent. Consent is coherent. Each person must be able to reasonably know the who, what, when, and where of the sexual activity. Your partner needs to be coherent enough to make clear decisions. Your partner cannot be incapacitated, they can't be unconscious, they can't be asleep. Your partner cannot be mentally disabled. And if your partner isn't coherent, then you don't have consent. Consent is willing. Use of force, fear, intimidation, pressure, threat, manipulation do not equal consent. Your partner must be willingly engaged in each sexual activity, and they must be able to cease consensual activity at any time. Someone in an unbalanced power situation, someone you supervise, someone you oversee, is not able to consent. Finally, consent is ongoing. Did your partner say yes yesterday? Doesn't mean that yes applies today. And even if you've consented before, you can always revoke consent today. Also, consent must be sought for each level of physical intimacy. You can consent to one sexual activity and then choose not to go further. And just because you're in a relationship with someone does not mean you automatically have consent. All right, so what's consent? Consent is clear, coherent, willing, and ongoing. And all 4 of these must be present for consent to be present. So now that you know what it is, let's talk about how to get it. Asking for consent, you all tell me, is awkward. But I promise you it doesn't have to be. Try some of these. Is this okay? Do you want to be specific? How much have you had to drink? Are you comfortable with? Do you want to slow down? Are you sure this is okay? Would you like me to? And actively look for nonverbal cues. Is your partner not responding to your touch? Are they pushing you away even slightly? Are they holding their arms around them? Are they kind of turning away, maybe covering their face? Can you feel, their muscles stiffening? If so, they are telling you that you don't have consent. And don't forget, consent can be revoked at any time. You always have the right to say no, and you always have the right to change your mind. Some of the ways you can do that, you can say no. You can say that you want to stop. You could say, hey, I have to use the restroom. And if worse comes to worse, tell the person you're going to be sick on them. That often works. And if getting consent still feels awkward, let's consider the alternative. If you don't get consent, you could end up in a judicial hearing, you could get suspended, you could get expelled, or worse, you could face jail time. So, as a member of the LMU community, you are proud, you are wise, you are honorable. You know what consent is. You ask for a yes rather than wait for a no. You know where to draw the line. You live the Lions Code.